Important money lessons every dad should teach their boys. Money management is an essential life skill that everyone needs to develop. Unfortunately, schools seem to overlook teaching the skill, focusing on subjects like geometry rather than financial freedom. As a result, young adults find themselves struggling to make ends meet and face financial stress in their 20s. However, by learning some key money lessons, you can set yourself up for a brighter future. So, lesson number one, make your money work for you. Simply storing your money in a bank account is not going to earn you any additional revenue. By simply storing your money in a bank account, your money will not grow. The average savings account earns about 0.2% interest, which is really, really low. To increase your wealth, you need to find ways to make money work for you. One way is to invest in appreciating assets like businesses and stocks. However, for most of us, starting with stocks is the beginning road of our journey. Lesson two, choose assets wisely. Avoid falling into liability traps. Instead of leasing an expensive car, rather invest that money in an index bond linked to the S&P 500 and earn on average to date around 5 to 10%. Ultimately, once you have enough money, you could put that money down on a rental property. And this is where the modern day children can take advantage. There's loads of people that go around saying that the baby boomers have taken all the wealth, but the millennial parents now have wealth too, and we have the mindset of sharing that wealth with our children. So stay with your parents for as long as you can, but don't fall into the trap of spending your money unnecessarily. Rather, invest that money in rental properties while living at home so that other people can increase your wealth for you. And remember, in order to have financial freedom, it means making the smart choices at a young age and avoid unnecessary debts. Lesson number three, financial education is key. Take the time to learn about investing, learn about online businesses, and other wealth building activities. The more you know about the world around you, the better the financial decisions you can make. There is no goose that lays the golden egg, especially for the average working man. But what there is a wealth of knowledge all around us. The sooner we understand human behavior and we understand how the world around us works, we can make really good, informed financial decisions. And I believe those are the true secrets to creating lasting wealth, is to invest in companies that you believe in. Invest in companies whose products you use and love. If their marketing is on point and you have absolutely fallen in love with their brand, then you should be investing your money in those products. Because ultimately, the more you know around the world and the more people you immerse yourself in, the more you understand how other people think. And if you're a really unique trendsetter, maybe you should look at what other people are investing in, buying and spending their money on. But don't just look in your circles. You need to have a full understanding of what's going on around you, all the different subsets of life. And don't be afraid to explore different investment opportunities, especially when you're young. I mean, how many times when you were younger did you sit in a room with your buddies and get stoned and say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z? And nobody did anything about it. What if you were sitting in a room with a bunch of your buddies and you guys sat and said something crazy like, we were going to create a pop-up burger van that just popped up in different neighborhoods, and we advertised it on social media, and we made amazing burgers, and the objective was to create the best burger product and just to be totally mobile and build up hype. And all of you, instead of laying around going, oh yeah, that'd be a really good idea, what if you all got up, walked to the dining room table, sat around the table and thought about how you would create that business and how much money you would all need to put in and how long you wanted to run that business for and how much money you wanted to make and how were you guys going to get out of it as quick as possible, making a profit. And the first business you guys did might fail. The second business you guys do might fail. The third business might be the next big thing, and you guys might make enough money to go, do you know what, we're really good at this, and carry on climbing and climbing and climbing. But you will never, ever, ever do that unless you learn how to make the right decisions at the right time. While it is important not to gamble away all your money, it is equally important to explore other alternatives to create additional income. so you can focus on the things you want to do out of life. And hopefully those things you want to do are really productive and lead to other opportunities that continue to push you forward on the journey of life. The fourth lesson, work hard and sacrifice. Don't be a victim to your own desires. Don't be a consumer of unnecessary stuff. Be the best version of yourself whilst understanding how the world around you works. Because another thing that we see in today's age is everybody is trying to be somebody else. All the work brigades and all the people who get offended about every little thing, they want the world to accept them for who they are, rather than accepting that they're a little bit different and the rest of the world thinks in this way. They're trying to change the way the rest of the world thinks. And that's not a good thing. No matter what you believe and no matter what you feel, it is not necessary to change everybody else's perception of the world. The idea is to float between different situations without ruffling up too many people's feathers, so you can get on with your life and do the things that are really important to you. But in order to get to where you want to get to, sacrifices have to be made. It may take a few years of discipline, dedicating yourself to understanding how the world works, especially when you're young. Because remember, you haven't had a lot of exposure to the world yet. But you are like a catalyst for what the future is going to be like. Things are going to grow around you. I remember when mobile phones first came out when I was 16 years old, and it was the biggest thing. If my father had given me this lecture that I've just given now, if I had done that, then I would have bought shares in whichever phone company I had at the time, because I absolutely loved my phone. And as the world changed and I saw the next phone came out and the next phone. So let's say, for argument's sake, not many people might know this, especially you youngsters, you won't know this, but Nokia was like the creme de la creme of mobile telephone when it first came out. So I would have probably bought loads of shares in Nokia. And then I would have bought shares in Nokia, and then the iPhone would have come out. And I would have sold my shares in Nokia, and I would go, you know what? It's done really well for me up to now, but I am now an iPhone user, and I'm dedicated to iPhone because it's an amazing phone and device. So now you've naturally moved over. Nokia died. Now iPhone is one of the biggest companies in the world. So my point that I'm trying to say is, when you're young, you're using the products of the future, because adults like me don't understand the things that go through a 12-year-old's mind. We don't understand the things that are going through an 18-year-old's mind, because it's a different world. We say this all the time, raising up our children. They're growing up in a different world than we grew up in. It's because we don't understand. We don't know the trends and how people's minds are changing. They do. Parents, we should be teaching our children how to invest, and we should have learned from our mistakes, and we should be passing on that information to them. But if we teach our children and we push our children, so I'll give you an example, right? So when I grew up from baby boomer parents, and they basically used to be like, well, in 4 years' time, you'll be 18 and you'll be on your own. Well, in 3 years' time, you'll be 18 and you won't be my problem anymore. And they drum this into us, and they say it and they say it and they say it and they say it. And they go, right, okay, I'm just going to go out there and make something of myself. So you leave at 18 and you go out there and you make something of yourself. From the age of 18 to the age of about 30, when you settle down, you've married, you're having your first children, you become an adult, essentially. For all those years, you spend all your money on renting accommodation, saving a little bit so you can buy a house. You buy unnecessary items because you're used to living in debt, and you think debt is this great thing because you can buy all this stuff and just pay for it later. And you have everything, but you also have a load of debt. So now you're trapped in a job. You can't change around. You can't do a job you naturally enjoy because you're stuck consuming all these products. So you're consuming all these products, and then you decide to yourself, well, hey, I've got all this product. I've got all this debt. I can't change my job anymore. I'm stuck doing this menial job that I should have only done for a couple of years while I learned something and decided where I wanted to go next. But if you come into your 20s and you're leaving home, rather than your parents pushing you out and they were saying to you, right, stay at home, we'll open up a savings account, and the money you would pay in rent and run in your house, put into that savings account. And for the next 10 years, while you set yourself up, you are the man of your bedroom. Whatever you want to do in your bedroom is your decision. You're an adult now, and we'll treat you as an adult. And the reason why we make you save the money it would cost to go live on your own is because you can use that money to invest and become something in later date and still have a life and still enjoy your youth. You don't have to save every single cent. Even if you were saving half of the money you earned every month, you could still have a great life if you were living at home and you didn't have to stress about the bills. You could set yourself up for the future and you can enjoy your youth. But we have to change the way we parent. Rather than trying to say, right, your children, there you go out into the world. We have to tell them, listen, you, from the age of 18 to the age of 28, those are your big years. You're going to find yourself, discover who you are. You want to find yourself a serious relationship and hopefully have something that's either ending in marriage or marriage and children by the age of 28. That's your time span. So focus on you, focus on where you want to get to. Save your money, invest in the future, look for opportunities, speak to your friends, decide on what you're going to do. Spend time on doing these projects, research, read books, book every week. Money isn't everything, but having enough is what's important. If you have enough money for the life you want to live, then you're going to be a happy person. And happiness comes and goes, and happy is not a thing, a fixed feeling. Happiness is just the feeling of being able to go, oh shit, my car's broken down. You take it to the garage and the guy says, oh, it's going to cost £1,000. And you go, okay, there's my card. It's not a credit card, it's just a debit card. The point that I'm trying to make is knowing that you have enough money to do those types of things makes you happy and makes you content and makes you feel safe. But if you're just thinking about, oh, so-and-so's got a Range Rover, but I'm still driving a Skoda, like, you need to get a grip. Your priorities are fucked up if those are your priorities. And the fifth and final lesson, financial comfort and responsibility is the very least you should be aiming for. To be able to live comfortably and free from financial burdens with the ability to provide for your family is the objective and the very minimum standard you should be aspiring towards. I have no intention of becoming a millionaire. It's not who I want to be. I want to be the guy who goes and does his job every day and then retires to his garage and he works on his projects and he builds his bits and bobs and the things that he likes to do. And then when he's finished doing that, he goes and watches TV with his wife, talks about the day, what we're planning on, what we're working on. That's the guy I am. Money can't buy any of that. I have to invest more time and effort into these relationships that are really important to me than spend money on anything. So when you get to the point where you have enough money for everything you want and you have what you want, then you're a rich man. It doesn't matter how many zeros are at the end of your bank balance. But the secret is to be able to be free to make your decisions and do the things you want to do. So you have to have financial goals and you have to work towards them. And they have to continuously evolve. You have to continuously take yourself out of your comfort zone and push yourself a little harder. And if you're going, this is really exciting, oh, but what if I can't do it? You probably can do it, and you should probably keep pushing forward. The more you push forward, the more you'll become confident and competent in the world, and the better decisions you'll make in your financial life. And the more safe and secure you'll become, and the more free. Because there's no such thing as absolute freedom. But to be free from the modern day slavery where you're chained to your life by the debt and your need for material things, if you are just absolutely focused with what you want out of life, that's when you have enough money. And that's when you've cracked it and you know the meaning of life.